A reminder to all of us who cover politics that just asking these basic questions of politicians is incredibly important. And, you know, I give Rubio a lot of credit for coming to this event because he probably knew what it was going to be like, and he knew the sort of energy and passion around this issue, and most of the people there were not going to agree with him. But I have to take exception to his argument that the money follows the politician. My experience in covering politics is that's just not true, that politicians bend towards these massive donations, not the other way around. And I understand what he was trying to argue, that the NRA funds his campaigns because he happens to agree with them on all the issues. But let's be honest, Don, that's not the way it works. These guys bend to the NRA and to other interest groups because they're spending millions of dollars on their campaign.
And especially he was in a tough position because, as we put up, the NRA spent $3.2 million to support Rubio in the last 3 years. That's according to OpenSecrets.org, the Center for Responsive Politics. Douglas Brinkley, I want to bring you in on here because Senator Marco Rubio did say that he's going to change raising the age at which you can buy a rifle. He said he's open to banning bump stocks. And he changed his position on a couple of, it appears, a couple of gun issues. It wasn't an easy conversation. Let's play a little bit, another one, and then we'll discuss.
He was able to pass the background check because we have a system that's flawed. The Sutherland Springs murderer was able to pass the background check because the Air Force did not report that record.
I think I'm gonna interrupt you real quick and remind you that the question is actually, do you believe it should be harder to obtain these semi-automatic weapons and modifications to make them fully automatic, such as bump stocks?
Well, I think the ATF is deciding about bump stocks right now. The president ordered the DOJ to look into it.
I'm asking your opinion as a representative of the NRA.
That's what the NRA's position has been. The NRA came, I'm talking for them. These are the 5 million members that I'm here representing.
What did you make of these extraordinary moments, standing up to Marco Rubio, standing up to Dana Loesch with the NRA?
Unbelievable courage of the students and the parents. They were speaking truth to power. It was at times just heart-rending just to think what the parents have had to go through, and now they're taking this lead. Look, I can't believe Governor Rick Scott was a no-show. Right. The governor of Florida turning his back on a state at a time like this, afraid of his own constituents. You have to go to the town hall and take some of the heat like Marco Rubio did. But I do think the good news of the night was Rubio and Nelson talking about they're going to change the law from 18 to 21 and the bump stocks. But that's incremental change.
Yes, but I mean, let's go there then. And I think you're right. But listen, here's the criticism. That's Marco Rubio's job. To listen to. Those are his constituents. That's his job. He should show up. The governor should have shown up for this. And any representative who is, regardless of what side of the aisle, should have showed up for this, right? So he said he's going to change at least 3 about the age at which you can buy rifles or guns. Teachers should not be armed. He went against the president. He goes, no, I don't agree with that. And also the size and capacity of magazines. Or clips in some cases.
Yeah, but you know, Rubio sometimes is with people like Corker and Flake. You know, he's not the main GOP power structure. The loser tonight was the NRA. You had a mourning community booing and hissing the National Rifle Association. You also had Senator Nelson pointing out that these weapons of mass destruction are being built now in Florida. And so it was a overall. The students did an amazing job, and the politicians that showed up should be thanked for at least being there.
Ryan, the president expressed interest in concealed carry for teachers. Take a look.
Yeah. That the coach had a firearm in his locker when he ran at this guy. That coach was very brave. Saved a lot of lives, I suspect. But if he had a firearm, he wouldn't have had to run. He would have shot, and that would have been the end of it. And this would only be obviously for people that are very adept at handling a gun. And it would be, it's called concealed carry, where a teacher would have a concealed gun on them. They'd go for special training, and they would be there, and you would no longer have a gun-free zone.
Not a lot of support at the town hall for that, Ryan,
No.
but I want you to look at this tweet. This is from candidate Trump back in 2016. He said, "Crooked Hillary said that I want guns brought into the school classroom." Wrong. That tweet was false at the time. He talked about eliminating gun-free zones at schools. And the day after that tweet, he told Fox News that trained teachers should be able to carry guns. So what do you think about what we're hearing here? What is the disconnect?
Well, President Trump is inconsistent on most issues, and you go back through his record on almost any issue.
He even supported the assault weapons ban at one point, and now he's telling the NRA, "I'll never let you down." Go on.
He did. Absolutely right. And so, you know, where he is on any given day. Yesterday, he put out essentially a press release supporting a ban on bump stocks, and he's talked about toughening background checks. Today, he's sort of more parroting the sort of more extreme gun rights position that everyone should be armed, and that would prevent these tragedies, and specifically teachers. So he's not very consistent on most issues, and he's been all over the place in the wake of this tragedy. And I don't think you can, you know, pick out a statement that he made and assume that that's where, you know, the direction that the issue's going. What we've learned about Trump is that leadership in Congress and where the sort of center of gravity is among Republicans on Capitol Hill, that's where legislation tends to go. So frankly, you could ignore a lot of what he says on a day-to-day basis about policy, because at the end of the day, he defers to Republicans in Congress when it comes to major political issues. And I think that's what you need to watch. And that's why it was frankly somewhat interesting that Rubio expressed a little bit of flexibility on some of these issues like magazine capacity and the age that you should be required to have to buy a
rifle,
something
a gun,
like an
rifle,
AR-15,
yeah.
or also, you know, because there's this strange disconnect in the law where handguns are 21 years old, but a lot of rifles are 18 because the argument is they're for hunting.
Yeah, I want to get just. I'll give you the last word here, Douglas. What did you think of the listening session at the White House today?
I was impressed that President Trump held it. I thought some of the students and the parents did a remarkable job, but I thought Donald Trump sounded like Archie Bunker. There used to be an episode when they were trying to stop hijacking, and in the All in the Family episode, Bunker said, well, let's hand guns out to everybody and that'll stop the hijackers. That wasn't worthy of a president of the United States' response to what happened today. He was trying to show empathy. It was kind of written down on his note card to show empathy, but I don't think in the end the fact that he wasn't in Florida and Governor Rick Scott were there, meaning that they're trying to just get around this, let the media cycle go past them. This is a movement. Never Again is going to be here. March 24th, there is going to be a massive march on Washington.
Thank you, Douglas. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate your
Thanks,
perspectives.
Doc.
When we come back, the White House saying they've taken direct action to prevent Russia from interfering in the upcoming midterm elections. Yet that contradicts the word of 4 of President Trump's intel chiefs who recently testified they've gotten no plans from him regarding Russia. Who's telling the truth?
Dynasties, The Kennedys, premieres Sunday, March 11th at 9 on CNN.
This is where you're wide awake, but it feels like a dream.